Okay, and welcome back to the channel, guys, with myself, David Millionaire Incorporated, where I like to go through topics of financial success, wealth creation, personal finance, and just topics on how to get yourself ahead in life personally. Now, as you know, on weekends, if you're new to the channel, I like to actually go through and review the trading week for the pound yen Forex currency pair and just see what it kind of do a bit of an overview of what it actually did, where you could have taken some potential trades, take profits, and then look at what it could potentially be doing for the week moving forward. So let's get started. And don't forget, guys, as always, smash that like button if you're finding value in this content. It would really mean a lot to me if you did. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and let's dive in. So last week we said that we finally started getting that retracement starting to occur. So as we said, it kind of came up, created that high, then closed just below and created like a new lower low compared to the previous week. So as I was saying last week, now I'm going to be starting to look for more sells in the market to have a bit of a retrace. Now, last weekend I was actually also saying how I was looking for it to come back to kind of this area just here or slightly further lower. We can actually see it actually did do that, actually came all the way down slightly further and then kind of retraced up again. Sorry about that, I'm just actually delete that. That's one of the trades I took during the week. So you can actually see that kind of came up, retraced. Now we're starting to see a bit of exhaustion here as well in this last daily candle. So let's jump into this into the charts and see what it actually did for the week. So as you can see, the last week it closed on this red candle here, just about 150.87, 150.90 kind of thing. And it opened this week at 150.20. So it was a massive gap down. So for me, that was a good sign that it was potentially going to continue moving lower through the week. So what I was actually looking for is, one, for it to actually close that gap, which as obviously you can actually see it did. And then I was kind of looking for other areas where it might have actually moved lower from as well. Now, one of the areas actually marked up was up around this 151.69, 80 area kind of thing, for it to kind of come up to, because when it does a gap close, sometimes it doesn't necessarily just hit the gap or close the gap. It still kind of trends higher or lower and past the point of closing the gap before it continues in its downward or upward trajectory. This time, as you can see, it came up, exhausted here, and then moved lower. So I actually did take a trade on the actual open of the trading week last week where this candle opened. Be careful with that, because it is a very risky strategy, because one, you're paying more spreads and more commissions and things, and it can actually continue further in the opposite direction you don't want it to go in. So I was fortunate enough that it kind of opened in this area kind of thing where it actually had a bit of a support there. So you can just kind of see, I'll just draw it in, kind of like this area just here. So it's probably a bit larger than what I wanted, but you can get the idea. It kind of opened up in that area. Then it actually kind of trended higher to actually close that gap before moving lower. So we'll just delete this one there. 1 second, guys, sorry. That's why. Cool. So yeah, so as you can see, it closed that gap, and you could have actually taken a short position from that. So we'll drop down to the 30-minute time frame to see what was actually happening at that area. So you can kind of see, came up, closed it, touched it once, came back down, found kind of support on this area just here, then tried going higher before it couldn't actually kind of keep moving past that point, exhausted before finally actually moving lower. And then it kind of broke down, came back up, tested this area here, then continued all the way down and actually just completely melted. As well as that, I think from this area just here, there was actually some UK employment data which came out, which came in quite negative and helped push the pound yen lower. So I'll drop it to the 1 hour. So you can see that broke down, and that was actually a pretty decent trade you could have actually taken from there, or even as it broke past this point here. So let's play it on the safe side. Let's do like a breakout kind of strategy where breaks below this area just here. Let's enter the, oh fuck it, still doing it. let's delete that and delete that one. Into that, let's go to the usual 80 pips take profit, 40 pip stop loss, and you can see quite easily it just completely melted there. So that was a really good trade there to take. So then I was actually looking for potential buys. Now, there are quite a few areas in this area over here where you could have actually looked for areas of support. So I actually drew a couple of them in. One was at that area of 149.28 where you can actually see it did retrace up a bit higher there, but wasn't strong enough to actually be a double bottom or a area of long-term support. As you can see, it kind of continued lower and broke through. Other areas were this area just here where it kind of, let's zoom into this here so you can see a bit more clearly. So you can kind of see this area just here where it kind of failed to break above, found resistance there again. Then as after it broke through finally, it did find support. Now it's a very messy area and it's not the best area to kind of take a trade from, but you can see that it actually did do that in this area. It kind of came down, exhausted, came up, tested this area again, came back lower, and couldn't break below this area just here. So it created like a double bottom W pattern. I'll just show you what I'm talking about there. Make sure I do that on the 1 hour so it's a bit more clearer. So let's grab my arrow tool here. Now I'll use that. So came down, came back up, came back down, and then took off again. And absolutely it took off completely. So one, you could have actually taken a trade from the bottom here where it created that W pattern double bottom, or you could have actually taken it as it kind of retested this area just here. So you can kind of see it broke above that recent kind of high, broke it up, came back down, tested, and then continued on higher. Now, so that's another good trade to have actually taken. So I'll draw that one in. So just from here. And just with those two trades, you would have made an easy 160 pips. You could have taken it back up to the recent structure, which is up around here, which would have given you another kind of almost 20 pips there. And you could have even taken it from right down the bottom here as well. Would have been another good kind of area to take from. So this comes with practice and implementation, practicing and stuff like that. Forex is something that you'll continuously learn or be working on learning forever. I'm still learning myself. It does take a lot of time and patience to actually do so. So that's what happened during the week. It was actually a pretty reasonable week to do so for trade. If you'd taken literally those two trades, I actually missed that buy because I still had a bearish bias and I actually wanted it to kind of come lower to this area down here. A couple of the other guys I was talking to were kind of in a similar position. We were kind of waiting for it to come a bit lower, but obviously you can see what happened. Now, moving forward for the week ahead. So, as we said, I feel that it is now kind of moving into that downtrend for that correction phase. And we can get a reasonably deep correction move to the downside. As I said last week, I'm not too sure exactly where it's going to kind of go down to, because you can see here is the impulse move down. And now the correction move on that came up quite high, quite sharp. So, and then you can kind of see it actually did exhaust around here. So it should potentially move lower next week. I'll actually draw a fib retracement in there as well, so you can actually see what it looks like on the retracement if you actually like using fibs. So it's only very rough. So from the top there down to the bottom, and you can see it's in that 61.8 to 78.6 area where it should be able to kind of start moving lower again. Awesome. So like I was saying, I think it might kind of open lower and hopefully just move down to this area here, find more support. It's almost as well kind of creating like that head and shoulders pattern. So you got the left shoulder or right shoulder, got the head, they've come back down to the neck, creating the right shoulder, and so it should potentially even come down there and even further lower. So that's what I would like to see at the end of the week. In saying that, if you go off candlestick patterns, it can look like quite a bullish week on the candle. You can see it came all the way down, it came back up again, but it is starting to see that exhaustion around there. So wait till the market's open. As I always say, watch price action. I trade price action, so that's what I kind of tend to do. And then you can kind of create a trading plan from that. So as I said, I want to see it kind of continue moving lower. I hope that was useful information there for you guys. Hope you enjoyed that content. Don't forget, guys, smash that like button. Leave me a comment. Let me see what you're seeing with the charts as well. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Appreciate it, guys. Cheers.